Last week, the S&P 500 climbed 1.7%. The Nasdaq was up 1.7%, and the Dow Jones increased 2.2%. U.S. stock prices climbed to hit an all-time high in the week that President Donald Trump was inaugurated. In the earnings season, Netflix pushed higher after the company posted better-than-expected earnings results. Crude oil prices pulled back following President Trump's declaration of a national energy emergency, while natural gas prices inched higher. Gold and silver prices rose as the prospect of immediate and sharper U.S. trade tariffs faded, and the greenback lost ground. Platinum and palladium prices pushed higher, with the latter recording a 2-month peak of over $1,000 by the end of the week. The major event this week will be the Fed's interest rate decision on Wednesday. While rates are expected to remain at 4.5%, traders will be watching Fed Chair Powell's statements following. The Bank of Canada and the European Central Bank will also meet this week, which are expected to cut rates by 25 basis points. However, much of the focus is expected to remain on speeches or remarks made by President Trump, particularly since a decision is expected on February 1st regarding tariffs against Mexico, Canada, and China. Palantir's stock price jumped by 7.75% to a 1-month high by the end of the trading week. In recent weeks, the software company announced a partnership with Lockheed Martin to invest $5 billion in an AI drone startup company. Late last year, Palantir secured a contract with the U.S. Army worth around $400.7 million. The company also appears well-placed, as founder Peter Thiel is a longtime supporter of President Trump. Palantir will reveal its earnings results on February 3rd. Oracle's stock price skyrocketed 12.1% and recorded a 6-week peak before the close of business on Friday. The stock surged after President Trump made a surprise announcement, named the Stargate AI Initiative, on January 21st. Oracle will collaborate with OpenAI and SoftBank to develop AI infrastructure across the United States, foreseeing an investment of up to $600 billion over 4 years that could create over 100,000 jobs. The presidential seal of approval for Oracle caps a strong performance that saw the company beating earnings expectations in December. Oracle is set to declare its earnings in early March. Crude oil prices fell 3.99% to a 2-week low after Donald Trump announced a national energy emergency, outlining that the U.S. will increase oil production. President Trump also called upon OPEC to lower prices by increasing output and stated that the U.S. would talk to Saudi Arabia on this topic. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, as part of the ceasefire deal, Israel saw the return of hostages held by Hamas in exchange for Hamas prisoners. Gold prices increased by 2.79%, rising to a 2-month peak of over $2,785, just short of a record high on Friday. The precious metal was initially supported by safe haven buying amid the uncertainty of a Donald Trump presidency, but pushed higher still after the administration appeared to pull back on some of its earlier tariff threats, suggesting that inflation may not rise after all. Expectations that the Fed will cut rates this year increased. Palladium prices increased 5.21%, jumping to a 3-month high before the close of business on Friday. President Trump outlined that additional sanctions or tariffs, including metals such as palladium, could be implemented against Russia if it is unwilling to hold talks with Ukraine on a solution to the war. China, the world's largest palladium consumer, also released above expectations industrial production data, implying that a growing Chinese economy could see increased palladium demand this year. The EUR-USD pair climbed 0.71%, rising to a 1-month peak at the end of the week. The euro strengthened on positive Eurozone business activity, but dollar weakness mainly drove the pair upwards. The dollar fell against its rivals after President Trump indicated that tariffs on China are by no means certain, but stated that a decision could be made on February 1st. The easing of tariff worries reduced fears of rising inflation and spurred confidence that the Fed could cut interest rates sooner rather than later.